guys, this is Advaita Sudrik and welcome to my brand new video where I am going to talk about how fast fashion influences our environment and its impact on the environment. So first let us know what fast fashion actually is. Fast fashion is the affordable dupe to the high-end luxury fashion brands and their clothing. So now that we know what fast fashion actually is, we will try to understand why did fast fashion emerge so much. Now in this trending electronic and this social media kind of era, everybody wants to look presentable and everybody wants to look trendy and fashion, updated. And for that reason, we try to find out clothing that is affordable and also meets our needs when it comes to buying trendy clothes. And the reason is each and every week you will find literally each and every season, each and every month, each and every week some or the other new trend emerges in the market, and we want to stay updated to each and every trend of it, which is practically really difficult if you are trying to purchase those fashionable outfits or clothing from the luxurious brands. Maybe it's okay, you know it better. So not everybody can afford those brands or those type of clothing. So the market understood the need of the people and they launched something called fast fashion, which is like an affordable dupe which these brands particularly provide equally fashionable clothes, similar designs, but on an affordable range. And now when they are making clothing affordable for people like us, common people, middle class people, they do one thing, and that is they use very cheap quality of products when they are manufacturing the clothing, and also they use cheap labor. And not just that, but this has adverse effects on the environment as well, and we'll know that. So the number one effect on the environment is the microplastics. Now when we buy from fast fashion brands, let's say Zara and H&M, which even for most of the people, even Zara and H&M are expensive, but still they are the top fast fashion brands in the market today. So we'll learn about it, how these kind of fashion brands influences and impacts the environment. So the first thing is now that we talked about is microplastics. Now not only in the packaging but also in the products itself, like maybe it's a skirt, maybe it's a t-shirt, anything, any kind of piece of fashion or clothing, it consists of microplastics. And now these kind of fashion brands are in excessive amount of demand. They have a lot of consumers, they have a lot of demand in the market, and when they have a lot of demand, they produce a lot as well. That's a basic economic principle. So when you're trying to produce such clothing, you also need raw material, right? So what is the basic raw material for any textile industry? That is cotton. So the production of cotton, well, if we focus on that, the production of cotton is not enough. The original or the natural production of cotton is not enough for the needs of these brands. So they support using of pesticides and kind of destructive methods of growing these kind of crops. Also, cotton uses one of the highest amount of pesticides when it comes to agricultural perspective. So these kind of pesticides, they also harm the soil. So from the initial itself, like from the production of the raw material itself, this harm to the environment is initiated. So until it reaches to the consumer, so much worse, it gets so much worse. So we'll get to it step by step. Now let's take an example of jeans, which is something that I'm wearing right now. But one jeans, you see, it's just we'll say it's like a 2000 or 3000 rupees jeans, maybe good quality jeans that you're buying, now that jeans takes about 10,000 liters of water for making one jeans. Can you imagine, like 10,000 liters of water to make one jeans? It's just unbelievable for people like us, because when we are buying something and we are purchasing something, we are not mindful and concise about how it will affect the environment, how it will affect, in fact, even ourselves. Like, you know why Shein was banned from India? Reason, many people think that it's because it was a Chinese brand, but no. Maybe it might be a reason, one of the reason, but the most important primary reason why Shein was banned from India was because it was a fast fashion brand which created huge hazardous mess and hazardous pollution into the ocean, into the soil. It was all accumulated in the landfills, because these clothes cannot be used for more than a year, even no matter how careful you are with using and wearing these kind of clothes. Because I remember, whenever you buy something expensive, you buy something that is delicate, piece of clothing I'm talking about, you take care of it, right? You do not like nicely folded and ironed and everything nicely. But you see, your life, when you're doing activities, you cannot always be careful about how am I being active when I'm wearing those kind of clothes, because sometimes you're human and you need to live, right? So that time you cannot be 100% careful about these clothes. So if the clothing that you're wearing is affecting your activity, then that might not be worth it. But however, fashion is fashion, style is style, and everybody knows that it's very important these days, which we do not have a problem with. We have the problem that we are not being mindful enough when buying and purchasing the clothes. Another second thing, that when I mentioned that jeans requires 10,000 liters of water, imagine an average person owns at least 3 jeans in their lifetime. Average person, and many of you might have even more. So it means you've consumed, or you've used about 30,000 liters of water. It might be it's an approximate value. However, even if there's a difference of 1 or 2,000 liters, it's still a huge amount. We cannot say like okay, maybe it's not, it maybe not that much, but it's still a lot. Even if you cut it down to 50%, it's still a lot. And then another thing is that when I say environmental influence on environment or the impact on environment, I also mean that the impact on us as humans, because we are also a very important part and factor of the environment. So I'm also talking about us. So when I talk about humans, you need to understand that the workers who work for these fast fashion brands, they're extremely underpaid, and that is the reason why, even if they are charging money from you, or they are you think that it's cheap, and it's good that it's cheap, right? I can afford it. Like, if a good worthy quality t-shirt that I get for 1200 or 1500 rupees, I might get 3 or 4 t-shirts in that same price from a fast fashion brand, and I would choose that fast fashion brand because I know it's cheaper, and I know that it's convenient for me, that I can I can have variety of clothes in the same price. But you need to remember that they have to cut down. When the prices are cheaper, it means they have cut down on some of the other aspects of either the production, or maybe the raw materials, or some of the other things. The cost of production they have reduced. That is how the price of the product is less. So that, how do they get there with affordable prices, is by cutting down the wages of the workers. And in fact, Zara as a company is even accused of making their workers work in a very slave-like conditions. I know it's an accusation, I'm not sure of it, but that's what I've read. So this is the reality of fast fashion. It's nice, you get to wear new and different clothes every time, maybe every occasion, but that is not the requirement of the environment. Also, one of the most devastating facts that I've learned about is that fashion industry itself produces 5 times more carbon emission than aviation industry. You see, one flight uh, takes up emits a lot of CO2, and the entire aviation industry, there are so many flights going from one place to another in a day, like hundreds of flights literally. And this industry, this fashion industry produces 5 times more the CO2 and carbon emission, which is something that is very, very unbelievable. But we still are unaware of it because clothes, like basic needs, food, water, shelter, and health, education, and clothing. Clothing is the basic human need, right? So we ignore. Like clothing should also be concise. Clothing should also be mindful. And when I say, I'm not talking about the type of clothing, like a short, a long, another. That's another part. And I'm talking about the fabric and talking about the process from which the clothes come to you. And also, as it is 5 times, it produces 5 times the carbon production than the aviation. It is also the second largest carbon dioxide producing industry in the world. Now, these statistics should be enough for you to understand how harmful this fast fashion is for you. In the next video, we will understand and know about methods how you can create a sustainable wardrobe and put in efforts in making concise and mindful wardrobe. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure you subscribe to my channel for more such infotainment and lifestyle related videos.